Welcome to our channel. A friend's secret. I remember the first time I met Emma. She had a bright smile and kind eyes. We were young and full of dreams. Every day we walked in the park talking about life, our future, and silly things that made us laugh. She loved music and always had a song in her mind. I liked books and told her stories from my favorite ones. We both were happy. Then there was David. He was my best friend, or at least I thought he was. We had known each other since childhood. He was always around, joking, laughing, and acting like a good friend, but there was something about him that I didn't see back then. David was jealous. He never said it, but I felt it later. He wanted what I had. At first it was small things. He would tell Emma little jokes about me. He forgets everything. He would say laughing, or he is not good at making decisions. Emma always smiled, but I noticed her thinking. I didn't worry at first. I trusted David. One day we planned to go to the beach. It was our favorite place. But when I arrived, Emma was not there. Instead, David was waiting for me. He looked serious. "Emma is upset with you," he said. My heart sank. "Why?" I asked. He shrugged. "She said you don't listen to her." I was confused. I always listened. We talked every day. I tried to call Emma, but she didn't answer. The next day she was different. She was quiet, not smiling as much. When I asked what was wrong, she only said nothing. But I knew something had changed, and I didn't know why. Days passed, and Emma became more distant. She stopped laughing at my jokes. She answered my messages late. When we met, she looked at her phone more than at me. I felt something slipping away, but I didn't understand what was happening. Then one night, David sent me a message. "Emma thinks you don't care about her feelings," he wrote. I stared at the words, confused. How could she think that? I cared more than anything, but doubt started to grow in my mind. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe David was right. Emma and I still spent time together, but it was not the same. She smiled less and spoke less. When I asked if something was wrong, she shook her head, but I could feel the distance growing. It was like a wall between us, and I didn't know how to break it. David was always there, always watching. He still joked and laughed, but I started to feel something strange. Every time Emma looked sad, he was the one who talked to her first. Every time I wanted to fix things, he told me to wait. "Give her space," he said. "She needs time." One afternoon, I saw them together. They were sitting on a bench in the park, talking in low voices. Emma looked upset, and David looked serious. I wanted to go to her, but something stopped me. I told myself it was nothing. David was my friend. He was only trying to help. That night, Emma sent me a message. "I think we should take a break," she wrote. My heart dropped. I read the words again and again, hoping I was wrong. But the words did not change. I wanted to ask why, but my hands felt heavy. I didn't know what to say. I sat in my room for hours thinking. What had I done? I tried to remember if I had said something wrong, If I had hurt her without knowing, but nothing made sense. We were happy before. What changed? The next day, I saw David. He looked at me with sad eyes. "I'm sorry, man," he said. "Emma just needs something different." His words felt like a knife in my chest. I wanted to believe him, but something inside me whispered that this was not the full story. I tried to talk to Emma again, but she was distant. She answered my messages with short replies. When I saw her, she looked away. It felt like she was slipping through my fingers, and I didn't know how to hold on. Days passed, and I felt lost. I walked alone, thinking about everything. I wanted to believe that this was just a mistake, that we could fix things. But deep inside, a small voice told me that someone had already decided for us. I spent days trying to understand what went wrong. Every memory with Emma played in my mind like an old movie. The long walks, the quiet talks, the way she used to laugh at my silly jokes. It felt like another life, a life that was slipping away from me. I wanted to reach out to ask her what had changed, but every time I picked up my phone, I hesitated. What if she didn't want to talk? What if I made things worse? David stayed close, always ready with a comforting word. "Give it time," he said, patting my shoulder. "If it's meant to be, she'll come back." His words sounded kind, but something in his eyes felt different. It was like he knew something I didn't. I wanted to trust him, but a small voice in my head told me to be careful. One night, I finally gathered the courage to call Emma. The phone rang for a long time before she answered. Her voice was quiet, almost tired. "Hey," she said. I took a deep breath. "Emma, can we talk? I just want to understand." There was silence. Then she sighed. "I don't know, it's just things don't feel the same anymore." Her words hit me like a wave. I wanted to ask why, to tell her that we could fix things. But she sounded so far away, like she had already made up her mind. The next day I saw them together again, David and Emma. They were sitting close, whispering. I stood there, frozen, watching as she smiled at something he said. It was a small smile, nothing special, but it felt like a punch to my stomach. My best friend and the girl I loved, sitting together like I never existed. I wanted to believe it was just a coincidence that David was only being a good friend, but doubt was growing inside me and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I walked away, my head spinning. Was I imagining things? Was I overthinking? Maybe David was right. Maybe Emma just needed space. But why did it feel like he was always there, always in the middle of everything? And why did she trust him more than she trusted me? That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together. I remembered the little things, how David always joked about me in front of Emma, how he always knew what she was thinking, how he was the first to tell me that she was unhappy, and suddenly it all made sense. David wasn't just my friend, he was the reason Emma had changed. He was the reason she had doubts. And worst of all, I had let it happen right in front of me. I felt like a fool. All this time I had trusted David. I had believed he was my friend, that he wanted the best for me. But now I could see it clearly. He had been slowly turning Emma against me. He had been planting doubts, making her question everything, and I had done nothing to stop it. I had let him stay close, let him whisper in her ear, let him take what was mine. I wanted to confront him, to ask him why, but what would he say? Would he lie? Would he smile and pretend he was innocent? A part of me wanted proof, something solid that I could show Emma. But deep down, I knew that proof didn't matter. She already believed him. She had already chosen to listen to his words over mine. That was the most painful part. The next day I saw Emma again. She was sitting alone by the beach, staring at the water. I walked over, my heart pounding. "Emma," I said softly. She looked up, her eyes filled with something I couldn't read. Sadness? Regret? Or was it just guilt? "Can we talk?" I asked. She nodded but didn't say anything. I sat beside her, taking a deep breath. "I don't understand what happened," I said. "We were happy, and then suddenly, everything changed. I just wanted to know why." She looked down at her hands. "It wasn't sudden," she said. "I started seeing things differently. I started feeling unsure." Her voice was quiet, like she was afraid of her own words. I wanted to tell her that she had been tricked, that David had been feeding her lies. But would she believe me? Or would she think I was just blaming someone else? "Did David say something to you?" I asked carefully. She hesitated for a moment. "He helped me see things more clearly," she admitted. The words stung like a knife. David had won. I clenched my fists, trying to stay calm. "Emma, do you really think I didn't care about you? That I didn't listen?" She looked at me, and for a second I thought I saw doubt in her eyes. But then she shook her head. "I don't know anymore," she whispered, and with that I knew it was over. I stood up slowly, feeling like the ground beneath me was breaking. "If you ever remember how things really were," I said, "I'll be here." She didn't respond. She just stared at the water, lost in her own thoughts. I walked away, feeling empty. The girl I loved was gone, and my best friend had taken my place. That night I sat alone, thinking about everything. I had lost Emma. I had lost my trust in David. But I hadn't lost myself, and I wasn't going to let him win so easily. I couldn't let it end like this. I had lost Emma, but I wasn't ready to walk away without the truth. I needed her to see what had really happened. I needed her to understand that David had been the one whispering doubts into her mind. But how could I prove it? She already believed him. She already thought I was the problem. If I pushed too hard, she would think I was just angry, just trying to blame someone else. I had to be smart. I started paying attention. I watched David and Emma from a distance. I noticed how he always stayed close to her, how he always made sure to be the one she talked to when she looked sad. He was careful, always acting like the perfect friend. But I saw the way he smiled when I wasn't looking, the way he seemed proud of what he had done. I knew I was right, but knowing wasn't enough. I needed Emma to see it for herself. One day, I got my chance. I walked into the restaurant where we all used to meet, and there they were. David and Emma sitting in the corner, deep in conversation. I didn't go to them. I just found a seat nearby, pretending not to notice. Then I heard it. David was speaking in a low voice, but I caught the words. He never really understood you, he was saying. You deserve someone who listens, someone who cares. I clenched my fists. This was it. This was how he had done it. He had slowly made her doubt me, one little lie at a time. I could have walked away. I could have let it go, but I didn't. I stood up and walked over to them. Emma looked up in surprise. David's face changed for just a second, just long enough for me to see the guilt before he covered it with a smile. "Hey," I said, looking right at Emma, "I need to ask you something." She hesitated, then nodded. "Did I ever make you feel like I didn't care?" She opened her mouth, then closed it again. David laughed nervously. "Come on, man, let's not do this here." I ignored him. "Emma," I said again, "think about it. Every time you doubted me, who was there telling you I was wrong? Who was always ready with the perfect words?" She frowned, and for the first time I saw it. The hesitation, the tiny crack in the wall David had built between us. She turned to him. "David?" Her voice was unsure. David shook his head. "You know I only ever told you the truth, but his voice wasn't as strong as before." Emma looked at me, then back at him. I could see the thoughts racing through her mind, the moments she had never questioned before now suddenly making sense. I didn't know if it was enough to fix everything, but I knew one thing. She was finally starting to see the truth. Emma's eyes stayed on David, searching for something, an answer, an explanation. But for the first time, he had no words. He looked away, his confidence shaken. The silence between them was heavy, filled with all the things he had told her, all the doubts he had planted. I could see it, the way her mind was racing, the way she was finally questioning everything. A part of me wanted to feel victorious, but mostly I just felt tired. "I don't know what to believe," Emma said at last. Her voice was quiet, uncertain. "I thought I was seeing things clearly, but now I don't know." I took a deep breath. I didn't want to push her, didn't want to force her into a decision. "Just think about it," I said. "When did you start doubting me? Who was always there telling you I was wrong?" She frowned, looking down at her hands. I knew she was remembering, piecing everything together. David finally spoke, his voice defensive. "I was just trying to help," he said. "I only wanted what was best for you." But even he didn't sound convinced anymore. Emma turned to him, her expression harder now. "Did you?" she asked. "Or did you just want me to doubt him?" David didn't answer. He looked at the ground, his face clenched. The truth was clear, even if he refused to admit it. A long silence followed before Emma stood up. She looked at me, and for a moment I thought she might say something, an apology, a promise to fix things. But instead she just sighed. "I need time," she said. "I need to think." I nodded, even though it hurt. I wanted to tell her that I had already forgiven her, that I still cared. But I knew words wouldn't fix this. She had to figure it out on her own. She walked away, leaving David and me alone. He didn't look at me, he didn't say a word. He just sat there, staring at the table, his fists clenched. For the first time, he had lost control. For the first time, his plan had failed. But I didn't feel like I had won. I had lost too much along the way. Days passed and Emma didn't call. I told myself to be patient, that she needed space, but the doubt was still there. What if I had lost her forever? What if David's words had done too much damage? I didn't know what the future held, but I knew one thing for sure. I had learned a lesson I would never forget. Some friends are not friends at all, and sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you the most. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel Easy Story Alicia 24/7 for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching video. Take care, everyone.